Hi there, a very slightly different way of doing things today. Gosh, I really have to sort my desk out. It's getting more and more chaotic of all the bits and pieces I've been finding recently. I really like having little bits and pieces lying around like this. I just love, every now and then I just pick up one of the coins and start cleaning it or have a closer look at something else. I like my artifacts. I mean, I do put them in their place, but I also like them to be here. I like to see them. But anyway, I've got 3 videos of the things that I've found in the last 2 weeks or so, and they are going to be absolutely cracking. But I need some time to edit them properly and do them justice, because I really want to make the most out of them. And something came up this week, which I'm not going to bore you with, but it meant 2 very long train journeys, which gave me some time to do a bit of editing. And I had 2 outings, one in July and one a little bit earlier, where I found a couple of really, really cool things. But they weren't quite enough to make full videos out of. So they've just been sitting there on the back burner. So I thought, let's get the best of those 2 out. And that would save me really having to concentrate on one of the ones I'm getting excited about. And it means it's not wasting, 2 or 3 or in fact 4 or 5 really, really cool things. So I'll see you back here, I think 2 or 3 more times, but I'll make it quick each time because I don't want it to go on too long. And I hope you enjoy it. So see you later. And let's go straight to the field. Hi there. What an absolutely amazing day to be out. Crikey. Just makes you so happy when it's like this. It's warm and sunny. And I'm doing a field that I've done a lot over the years. The maze is just about coming up to a level we probably can't do much more on, but it's fine when it's like this. Before any of you get too excited, you can walk down the bits which don't have maze in them. You can dig in the areas with no maze in them. In fact, it's probably the safest time to do a field is when it's like this. When it's drilled, you can't see where the seeds are. But when it's come through, you can be as careful as you like, not doing any damage to it at all. There are 2 main sections in this field I've done a lot. I've found all sorts of wonderful things in. But there is a section here which I haven't done that often, and it's mainly because there's not much here. But I thought, well, let's just do it quite carefully, and then we can, we can have it done, as it were. And I found a couple of Roman coins. Quite hard fought, but I'm really pleased with them. Nothing massively special. One I think is a sort of 3rd century coin. It's got a radiate crown on it, I think. And that's rather lovely, and it might clean up okay. And this one's rather nice as well, very coppery, but looks to have some silvering on it. But all the coins of this time, this is a 4th century small little follis, House of Constantine by the look of it, or it might be Valens or Gratian, someone like that. They would have all been silvered. But like buses, after 2.5 hours, I found this wonderful hammered coin. I'm absolutely over the moon with it. I haven't been doing any live digs, I've just been rushing around rather for the time being. It's a Shortcross. It's quite clipped, but they often were in these days. But what's left is beautiful. He's got the most wonderful portrait of Henry II, Richard, John, or Henry III. It could be any of them, any of the 4 of them. At the moment, I'm not good enough to tell which is which yet. But I can see Henricus, and he's got rather a surprised look on his face. He's sort of going like that. But that's lovely. And then put that there. And then about 4 minutes later, another one in beautiful condition, and just so pretty looking at them in the sun like this. And it's an Edward of sorts. I can see Edwardius, HVY, or was it RYB at the end. That's rather a good portrait as well. The hair is wonderful. And it's Civitas, London. Not a particularly special coin, I don't think, necessarily, but in lovely condition and just fabulous. I mean, to have 2 hammered coins, short cross and a long cross. Gosh. Well, I've been out here quite a long time for those, but it's just been wonderful. I'm really pleased. So let's keep going and see if I can get something live for you. Well, I've just come across this. I've never seen one of these before. I'm quite good on my birds. It's a little nest.
I don't know, it's not a lapwing, even though they're ground nesting. I think it might be a skylark. I'm not disturbing anything. What would have been there will have already have hatched if it survived and wasn't predated. So that is, I might see if I can get it out even. No, it's not going to move. But that's rather wonderful. Have to look that up. I think that's a skylark's nest. Cool, there's another one. This one's on the surface. It's got to be, hasn't it? Cut half. Yup. No, gosh. So I've got a long cross, now a voided long cross, and a short cross, all on the same morning. Wow. That wasn't that hard finding. It was on the surface and made quite a nice double beep. Brilliant. Well, I've not found an awful lot else. It's just got too hot. I can't concentrate. Like most of you, I'm not used to this heat. It's hopefully it'll stay like this for a bit, but I'm just feeling really and I'm just on my way back to the car. Would you believe it? This little field adjoining the one I was on has never had anything in it either. But I've just found this now. It's a ring. I don't know how old it is. I'm going to be a bit careful. I've got a feeling it's got some age. Gave a very scratchy sound. I don't know why particularly. It's still got its sort of bezel, as it were. And I suspect it would have had a stone there. Isn't that beautiful? God, I feel lucky, but it really was. It looks a little bit of another proper going back to the car moment. It's odd how often it happens, isn't it? Now, I'll be a bit careful with this, because if it's a Roman ring, and I think it might be, I don't want to ruin it. But that's made my day. That's absolutely stunning. It's in perfect condition. It's not... I found one the other day, I think you might remember from a previous video, but just the sort of the bezel-y bit. And sometimes they're magic, these rings, they really are. I don't know if this one does anything. Let's see. No, I don't think so. Even though, you know, it's got a look of a sort of enchanted one. Let's have another go. No, I think that's just an ordinary Roman ring. Anyhow, well, let's go back to headquarters. This will be the end of this part of the video because I can't go on. I'm too tired. But that's just wonderful. It's made my day. Let's go back to headquarters and have a closer look at it. Let's go. Well, that was just a really, really wonderful little session. Well, it wasn't a little session. It was a long session. And I don't think I really conveyed either how hot it was. It was absolutely sweltering. And it was the first time the weather had been really, really nice, like that sort of heat. And I didn't think I could cope with it. I got really, really tired. Anyway, as you probably noticed, I didn't have anything on eBay last week. Even though we found loads of Roman coins and stuff in that incredible field of Cath. And thank you so much again, Cath. That was really exciting. I loved that. But this week I will put these hammered coins on. I don't really like letting the short crosses go. But it's nice to put something really good up occasionally, and I just hope, well, everyone's so generous anyway, so I'm sure it'll do okay. And actually it's a particularly nice one. I'm still not that great on these sort of coins. I put it on the detectinghub.co.uk, information below, and a couple of people, Electus and Dave, got back to me on it, and this one is a King John, and it's Walter of London. And then this one, this penny, well, again, they all look rather similar to me. Especially the Edward pennies. They're really, really hard to nail. But Electus and Dave got this one as well. It's an Edward the First or Second, I think. And it's class 10 CF3. How in God names do they get these most of the time? I don't know. And then finally, this little cut half. And again, you can see just about make out can and rob, which is Robert being the moneyer and and Canterbury being the mint. So those are those 3 coins.
And as I always say, if I feel someone's been overgenerous, then I'll add a Roman coin or 2 in it that I've been cleaning, because it's just nice for them to go to good homes. So those 3 bits there will go up, and those 3 hammered coins. I'm not sure about the ring, because I just haven't found that many, that many proper Roman rings. Especially whole ones. Even though this is not the grandest thing in the world and never going to be, it's just so pretty the way it's complete. It's got a wasted section towards the bezel there. I don't think it would have had a stone. I think it would have been just like it is. And then it's got decoration on the shoulders. There's a groove or 2. And then it's got these quite nice angular knees on each side. It hardly even fits my little finger. Presumably it was made for a child or a very small lady. But it's just a really, really wonderful thing. Now, I'm not exactly sure what these date to. I did put it on the detecting hub, even though I knew it was Roman, and Ronan got back to me, and he's given me a couple of very sort of similar ones on the portable antiquities scheme, which I'd seen, and therefore it's not a particularly uncommon find, but it's lovely to find one in that sort of condition. I mean, really, really special. Don't think it does do anything. I'm not going to flog that joke too hard, even though I do quite enjoy doing it. Don't think it is magic. It says here, if it is Giroux type 3 or whatever, it's very similar, whatever, later 2nd to later 3rd century AD. So it spans a period of about 100 years. And it's just a particularly special find. I'm really, really thrilled with it. But as I said, I'll put those up on eBay. And in part 2 of the videos, there's a few more bits which will go up as well. So I hope you enjoy that. And I really look forward. And well, we do come back here, but I do look forward to editing the next week's movie and next week's film and the couple after that, because there's just some brilliant things come up from very, very similar fields that I was in this video. Anyway, I'll see you later, and let's go back to the fields. Even though the sun's just come out, it was a pretty sharp shower, and that's what they forecast. But it's just rather nice just staying out of the wind and being here for a quick second. And I've already found 2 or 3 amazing things. I haven't been here very long. A lovely little George V shilling, 1921. That'll go on eBay. I'm starting to sell bits of silver and things like this. You don't get much for them, a couple of quid, I think. I'm going to probably do myself under Holzhammer Sagas. A lovely little Roman coin. Well, I say lovely little, there's not an awful lot on it. But you know enough. There's an emperor standing on one side and an emperor on the other. So that's nice. And a little Roman coin fragment that was just on the surface. Talk a lot about the molds in this in these around here. But I can clearly see an emperor on that, and I don't find that many of these here. It's a George II halfpenny, so that's jolly nice. So 4 really cool things quite quickly, and I'm really pleased with that. I mean, that couldn't be a better start. It's going to be showers all day, so I'm going to be running to and from trees like this the whole day, I think. But I'm looking forward to it. Well, I'm in an area of the field I know is very quiet, but I want to get it done. And I want to get it done really quite carefully, so that I don't really have to come back here. Fairly hard going. I've dug a lot of iron and a lot of lead. This gave the most extraordinary signal. It was so high pitched, it was like a sort of 2p. I don't find that much modern coinage, but 2p's always sound like, well up there. Well, it's a buckle of sorts, and I think it's a very early one. I've not seen this design before. And it just looks just looks and feels wobbly and wonky, and just does all the things that you expect a sort of Saxony type buckle to do. That's what I think it might be. I don't think it's much later than that. I don't think it can be. I don't think it's broken anywhere. I think that's what it is. It's just a wonderful, wonderful design. It's just so cool. And because I think it's quite early, we'll whiz back to headquarters with this. The sun's behind me because the wind is behind me as well, and you're not going to hear me if I face that way, so I hope I don't come out, I'm not coming out too dark. But wow, what a cool thing. Just so unusual. It looks like it might have been attached to something that side. Anyhow, let's go back to headquarters and have a look. Let's go. Welcome back for the last time. Just have a quick look at this buckle. At the time, I thought this is really early. But when I got it home, it just to me looked a little bit, well, I don't know. I had sort of second thoughts about it, mainly because of this little knob coming out there. I just thought that just might have looked a bit modern. And then that got me to thinking that maybe it was some sort of device by which that would have looped into a hole in some sort of leather, etc, etc, etc. And I thought, well, that's something which seems to me to maybe have come in a bit later as well. So I got sort of slightly thinking, well, maybe not as early as I thought. I couldn't, like other people on the Detecting Hub, really locate anything on the Portable Antiquities scheme, which is very similar. And a couple of other people said that they thought it was unusual too, and they hadn't seen anything quite like it before. I then went to probably the only place you need for buckles like this, and if you put in buckle ID to Google, as I've said several times before, buckle ID, you come straight to CJ's metal detecting pages, where there is possibly the best buckle guide you'll ever need. I don't know quite how he's managed to get every single, so most buckles. I'm not sure so much about the Roman and Anglo-Saxon ones, but anything much later than that, anything you find, I challenge you to find anything that's not in here. So I went through the early ones, the Saxon ones, keeping my fingers crossed, not in there. But here, Part 5, medieval 13th to 15th centuries, just here under type 1C, there's a little picture here of something very, very similar, but it didn't have holes in it. Now, the reason it's not got holes in it, as was pointed out by Ian on the Detecting Hub as well, was because that it looks to have had a similar knot there in these two bits here, and therefore these wouldn't have been holes originally. They would have held a very similar looking sort of knobby bit there, and that would have been the decoration of your buckle. So I'm absolutely, well, so not quite as early, but still, you know, possibly Norman, and therefore just a really, really cool thing. So possibly Norman or early Angevin, or whatever they call them, that after that lot. And now we can quickly go to number 17 in the write-up that he gives to all these buckles. And it says, Type 1C, these are unusual buckles that are not so commonly found. Hooray! So that's one thing. Number 22 being the least rare of the type, and is probably slightly later in date range. Number 17 is not far from the zoomorphic style of the late Saxon period. So there you go. And actually, one of the new moderators, Ronan, who's brilliant at this sort of thing, he discovered some similar ones on the Portable Antiquities scheme, which were, I'll put a photograph up now, which, you know, definitely look like they could be related. So that's absolutely brilliant. Anyhow, thank you very much for listening to all that. And let's go back to the fields. Along with the little Roman coin, I'll take that today. I mean, I don't think I need to find much else. I'm thrilled with it. You'll know what it is now. I still won't be sure, but yeah, all the same, brilliant. God knows if you're going to hear or see me. It's just one of those days. I know I always complain about the wind, but I just don't know anything like it. I'm sure it wasn't like this when I was a child, just windy all day, every day, whatever time of the year. I just think it's a bit odd. Now I've got my small speaker quite close to the mic, which is shielded from the wind because it's inside my lapel there. I'd be surprised if you can't hear that. It's bloody loud and very high pitched and very dingy. Probably a rifle round. But it does sound like that buckle I just dug up, which was also very high pitched. Well, I can see it because I've obviously, well, I don't know if I've hit it with my spade. I think I must have done. It's just on the side there. Do you see just there? You'll know what it is before I do. It's a silver coin. It's a big mill silver coin of, well, wow. It's my second nice bit of silver of the day. It's a William III shilling. I think it's a shilling. I think it's too big to be a sixpence. He's wonderful on that side. I can see him really clearly. And the other side, it says 1697, I think. That's less good, that side. That's what makes that noise. They always say big silver, you know, it's really high pitched. And I never really get to put it to the test very much because I very rarely find big silver. But that really did, didn't it? That gave a proper... Yeah, I'm pleased with that. That's lovely. Well, that's a jolly good sign too, isn't it? Look at that. It doesn't get much better than that. Strap end, both its sides. It's a medieval strap end. Gosh, I mean, that is not going to win Prize Find of the Year award, but it does go to show the condition that things in this field come out. I mean, that's been relatively undisturbed for centuries. Isn't that amazing? Well, that's got a chance of being really good. Small, a bit buzzy. I'm really enjoying myself today. Sometimes you enjoy yourself more than others, don't you? It's quite odd. Just adjusted the camera. It's felt a bit on the funny angle, but it's bang on the top there. I'm pinpointing well today. I always tell you when I do, and I always tell you when I don't, but it's nice and deep, whatever it is. Cartridge, I reckon. God, there are some cartridges in these fields. Well, it's just another piece of lead. And again, it looks like it sort of might have something on it. It doesn't. But that's just old, isn't it? Do you think that's got something on it? Just here, it's a hoop of sorts, I think. Or was that a ring? And that might not be very old. But it's not a classic hoop. It's definitely more ring. It just feels more like a ring. Or is it an olive? I don't think that's very posh, sadly. But you never know. We'll have a little look at it. The inside is better than the outside. I think that might be a ring. Just got a feeling. My God, the sun has come out. It's glorious. It's still windy, but it's not cold. I've taken my hat off. Got 4 seasons in a day today. I'd say it's one off being punchy. I've just unplugged the speaker quick, very momentarily, and I found something very odd to show you, which is a new one on me.
don't know why I've dug such a big hole there. It did sound quite deep. It could be iron, actually. It's a stretched out signal. Yeah, it sounds horrible. Horrible. And it's deep. It's going to be a horseshoe or something like that. I don't think anything good can come of this. Or it's going to be, I can feel it. It's going to be lead. Surprise, surprise, look, a socking great piece of lead. Wondering if that might be a palm guard or something. God. Well, and I've got to lug this around now. But look at this. Now this. Now it's pressed copper, which makes me feel probably Victorian. There's a chain in between them, and it looks like there's a definite sort of rather classical lady there. And on the other one, but it looks like wings or something. But actually, now I bring it round, that's a woman as well. So it's two women in pressed copper, joined by a chain. Now I have no idea what that is. I'm not going to go back to headquarters with this, but I will find out what they are, because they're a new one on me. Quite pretty, very unusual. Just got no idea. And they may have been joined together, I think. Well, this was quite deep, and it certainly started off life as what I like to call with this machine a buzzer. It was just a bzzz, but it wasn't iron. Probably could have been lead. It's not. It's a lovely medieval buckle with its strap end, with its buckle plate still completely intact. It's a beauty. And we often find the actual buckle sections to these, but again, not in such good condition. It's so fragile. But it's missing its pin, but it's got everything else. And that's about 1350, 1250 to 1350, I would have thought. It's a lovely thing. Really pleased. It's quite hard work today. I mean, I really am working hard for my finds. But I've got a feeling I've actually come to a slightly better section, which I'm doing more carefully. So we'll see. Well, I think we'll end on this one. God, it's been lovely to be out, but it's been hard work. I've had some really good days recently. I cannot complain. I'm the luckiest detectorist out there, often. And today we found some great things too, but it's just been, yeah. But it's been good fun. It's been quite nice getting a proper bit of field done, which I know to be quiet. Now, I'm just going to move the camera back a touch. I've got quite a good feeling about this. But mind you, the only thing, this section here is full of very similar little strips of lead. And this could well be another. And they are all deep. God knows what they're all doing down here. Yeah, I'm afraid that sounds leady now. It's quite a soft. It's just down. Well, that gave the sound of something. Yeah, there's probably some deep iron or something down there. My target is just here, and wouldn't you know it, my God, again, just a bit of rolled up lead. It's the sort of day we've had. Could that be a curse? Of all the bits of rolled up lead you could possibly want, that is the most, well, I think that really could be. That has got some age to it. Thank
thank you very much for watching. As I said, that's been really good fun, and see you next time.